So good afternoon. I'm really pleased to have this opportunity to talk to you all this afternoon and to share some of my thoughts about where we are in this journey to a very different cultural approach to buildings, the need to increase competence, and overall, and most importantly of all, to restore confidence, public confidence and residential confidence, particularly in this whole sector. So I'm going to talk about this subject, and my main focus is going to be the Industry Safety Steering Group's 4th annual report. It's not yet been published, so what I'm sharing with you today is a preview of what we will say in that annual report. It is complete in draft form and will be submitted to the Secretary of State very shortly. But this is the current thinking of the Industry Safety Steering Group, and I thought this would be important to share with you today as part of this conference. So just a few words of reminder, first of all, about the role and the remit of the Industry Safety Steering Group. We were set up immediately after my final report was published. I was asked to chair it. The role of the group is to oversee the progress that industry is making and to drive that culture change within the whole of the built environment sector and all of the actors that have an influence on that. And later in this presentation, you'll see how far some of that is spread, I think. We do that via constructively challenging people, recommending further action when it's needed, identifying what the obstacles are, what's getting in the way, and coming up with our thoughts on how we might overcome some of those challenges, and also making proposals to speed things up. As I've said, the 4th report is about to be submitted to the Secretary of State, and I'm going to go through our overall assessment of progress and what that means in a number of areas, ranging from government and regulators through leadership, competence, transparency, the whole area of responsibility, and being able to differentiate between those who are doing the right thing and those who are not yet. And also then close by talking a little bit about the Industry Safety Steering Group's future work plan and the areas we think we need to focus on. So just to give you an overview to start on where we think we are since our previous report, what this new report says is it's still a very mixed picture. There are areas of really good progress, but still we see too many people who are, for whatever reason, holding on to this position of, I can't do anything because no one's told me yet what I need to do. I'm glad to say that is not universal. We are starting to see that the culture change that we've been looking for, but we need it to be much more widespread. We need others to wake up to the need to make this change, and especially now that others are showing the way and showing that it is possible, and indeed that they are getting benefit from doing some of the things that they are now doing that they were not before. There is every reason for others to learn from them. I guess some of our concerns on the Industry Safety Steering Group, however, are that there is still a tendency for people to see this as being about compliance with a set of rules, rather than getting the true message that we believe everyone should be embracing, which is one of embedding safety in the design and the construction and the operation of all buildings. Disappointingly, despite the huge amount of work that's been done on competence in terms of developing frameworks, we have not yet seen the take-up of that training in the way that we would hope. And I'm going to say some more things later about what I think can be done differently to try and help there. And as I've already mentioned, one of the things that we feel is really important is that those who are truly leading the way need to be recognised for what they're doing. We need to find a way to differentiate between those who are doing the right thing and those who continue to wait for the regulator to give them further instruction. So taking each of those areas in turn, as I outlined earlier, when it comes to government and regulators, what are some of the points that we are making in our latest report? Well, first of all, that we think the Responsible Actors Scheme, which is very topical, the Secretary of State spoke about this in the House earlier this week and named those who have signed up. We as an industry safety steering group believe this scheme is very welcome, very necessary. But our view is that we need somehow to replicate that, not just for putting things right from the past, but also for those who are engaged in new build, so that we get that same sense of who are the people out there who are truly committed to doing the right thing. We've spent some time this year talking to the Building Safety Regulator, as you would expect. Peter Baker is a member of the Industry Safety Steering Group. And one of the things that we feel as a steering group is that there is a need for much more support, I think, for the regulator to act now on new build. We're becoming increasingly concerned about this gap in the middle between buildings that were already there prior to the Act, buildings that are now being built while the Act is being brought into force, where the rules and the requirements are not as clear. And then we will move into a phase once the Building Safety Regulator is fully up and running, where things are much clearer, but we are concerned about that grey area in the middle. We've also identified through our discussions with the Building Safety Regulator and the Product Safety Regulator, the Office of Construction Products Regulation, that there will be a real need for them to work very closely together in the future. And one of the areas that's not yet well enough developed, in our view, is the whole products regulation framework. That's long overdue. We're awaiting Paul Morell's report to be published. But in the meantime, I've been doing some work wearing a different hat, and have been party to the production of a best practice framework, which brings together all of the international best practice on products regulation, so that we can at least see what good would look like and start to think about how we might move towards that. On leadership, as I've said, we are starting to see some leaders emerge, and that's great. That's really good news, but it is still a mixed picture. We've seen the Construction Leadership Council, through its challenge panel, really driving a much higher level of ambition and supporting that delivery of safe, high quality buildings. We have long been a champion of the Building a Safer Future Charter process, and we're delighted to see the first 10 champions recognised in November of last year. But 10 is not very many when you consider the number of actors in this industry sector. So we really need to see that number increase, and quickly. We've seen some great examples of good practice from the area of housing associations in particular. They are really, I think, setting the standard for what good resident engagement looks like, getting ahead of the curve, not waiting to be told what to do, but actually really understanding what residents need, and there is some really good practice there. We've welcomed the Code for Construction Product Information. So those are some of the really good things that we've seen. Some of the less good things, we're really quite disappointed with the discussions we've had so far with insurers. I know that for many of you, the main issue around this is professional indemnity insurance, I should say. Our concern is more to do with risk aversion and an unwillingness to engage with this process in terms of coming up with new and better solutions in this space. And we think there's a real opportunity to get insurers to be more proactive rather than sitting back and waiting for others to offer those solutions. We've had some interesting discussions with REBA over the last year. And for me, this exemplifies that attitude that I described earlier of waiting for others to mandate things. Our discussion with REBA was around the subject of single staircases in high-rise buildings. REBA have long been of the view that there should be 2 staircases in all high-rise buildings. I think many of us share that view. So why is it that the professional bodies are not leading the way in terms of setting those professional standards, rather than continuing to call for regulation to set those standards for them? We've seen some very good initiatives come out of a whole variety of areas, including guidance on what collaborative procurement would look like. And I want to come on later to say a particular thank you to iStructE for the work that they've done around extending the cross system to include safety as well as structural issues. Most recently, one of the things we've looked at is a report from the Fire Sector Federation, a white paper which calls for additional measures over and above the Building Safety Act. I know your focus today is very much on what the Act means, but we think that, again, whilst there are some good ideas in that Fire Sector Federation white paper, they're aimed at the wrong target. They're very much at the moment focused on what more government needs to do, rather than what more can industry do to lead the way. I've said quite a lot on competence already in terms of the frameworks are there. We're starting to see a huge amount of work going to the training and increased competence of building control professionals. But in other areas, that training take-up is not happening fast enough. And one of the things that we've seen this year has been people coming into this area wanting to think of new ways to deliver training, more innovative ways of doing it. We think that's important, because if we continue to try and do it all through tried and tested methods and not making use of innovation and technology, we will be missing some important opportunities. We also think that there is an opportunity to learn from other sectors who've had to follow a similar path in terms of increasing competence, and to learn from them what works and how to speed up that process. Moving on to transparency, as I've said, I think there are some key areas here that we can identify as being great news. The Housing Association leadership, the work that you yourselves have done on the collaborative reporting for safer structures. We think that is a really good example that exemplifies that no blame culture, pulling together information, highlighting and sharing knowledge around recurring problems. And it's really important in our view, and you will get full support from the ISSG for the need for long-term funding for that programme, because things like that are so important to underpin this whole process. As I said, in terms of responsibility and differentiation, we have much more work to do on products, construction products. There's a lot to be done there. We also need to be aware of the fact that there is a lot of work going on this same issue of building safety in other parts of the world. There are things taking place in Australia, in the US, international frameworks, as I've said, that we can look at and learn from. We don't have to develop everything for ourselves. All of this is going to be really important to restore public and market confidence, And we cannot do that on the basis of waiting for everyone to get up to speed. It's really important that the market has the opportunity to see who are the good actors in the system and to differentiate them from the laggards. And that is something that we will be looking at and investigating in the months to come at the ISSG. In our view, it's really important that we don't rely solely on the regulatory system, but actually look for market mechanisms that can support that, the principles and the philosophy of the regulatory system. So our future work plan is going to be taking forward a number of those areas, progression of accreditation and standard setting, thinking about what comes out as a public inquiry and what more that tells us about things that need to be picked up and done by the industry, not just by government. We've got to make progress on construction products. We need to start engaging with the new statutory committees that the Building Safety Regulator is going to commission in the months to come. And we need to explore those areas for market mechanisms to support the regulatory regime. So in summary, and to start off your discussion this afternoon and evening, my view is that the journey to the new culture and improved building standards is now well underway. Many people are on that journey, many are not yet up to speed, but everyone needs to recognise that there is no going back. This is going to happen. The scale of change is great. I think we must all acknowledge that. But having said that, that is no excuse for not making it happen. We all need to understand our roles and play our part. There is still time to be in that proactive phase, but the time when it's going to be mandated and required of you is getting closer all of the time. My single piece of advice to everyone is, let's stop this tell me what to do and own the process. It really is time to deliver the standards that you know are expected and are now clearly required of you, because this is important for residents and for confidence in this sector. Thank you.